Welcome to the Rewrite Your Story with Tasha Joe podcast, where we fearlessly dive into the vast realm of thoughts, ideas, and conversations that know no bounds. Buckle up and prepare for a wild ride as we venture into uncharted territories and explore the unexplored. On this journey, we leave no stone unturned and no topic untouched. From the profound to the absurd, from the mundane to the extraordinary, we delve into the depths of human curiosity and embrace the sheer unpredictability of life. This is the podcast where anything and everything takes center stage. Each episode is a thrilling adventure into the unknown as we bring you fascinating discussions, captivating stories, and mind-bending perspectives as we embark on a quest for knowledge, enlightenment, and endless entertainment. Expect the unexpected, for here there are no boundaries and no limitations. Open your mind, expand your horizons, and get ready to be captivated by the infinite possibilities that await. So whether you're a seeker of knowledge, a lover of stories, or simply someone who craves the thrill of the unknown, this podcast is tailor-made just for you. Tune in, fasten your seatbelt, and prepare for a roller coaster ride through the vast expanse of human curiosity. Get ready to be amazed, enlightened, and entertained, because on this podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules. Hello, beautiful soul fam. On today's episode, I have guest speaker Tara Beck, who was on last week's episode. And today we are going to be asking her about her spiritual journey. So welcome, Tara.
Hello.
So how did it start?
It started not at all intentionally.
Never does.
Yeah. I went to Mexico for the first time with the intention of doing something entirely different, and it ended up being exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah.
I was invited to participate in a ceremony at Lunita Jungle Experience in Puerto Morelos, Mexico, and everything just kind of fell into place.
Yeah.
Everything just kind of opened up this door and showed me the path that I needed to go down.
So was it just a group of friends invited you, or?
It was somebody that I'd never met, that actually I had met through Michael.
Okay.
And they invited us to come participate in a DMT or Changa ceremony in the jungle.
Okay.
And,
Wow. So you just went like right in.
I went right in.
Yeah.
Usually I volunteer to go first because I don't like anything to inform my experience.
Yeah.
But I sat and watched somebody else's journey first. And leading up to it, he kept asking questions like, what are you most excited about? Like, what are you looking forward to? What are your intentions? And I'm the kind of person that I don't necessarily want my journey to be informed by anything.
Yeah.
So I didn't research this.
Yeah.
I didn't
Good.
look into it. I asked very few questions. He told me about his personal journey. A couple other people told me about theirs. And I just kind of went with it. And
The door just opened.
Yeah. And it was kind of just, it wasn't like it was just kicked down. It was kind of like you're meant to be here all along. Like, welcome. Like, you've been here before.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Some part of me knew like this was for me. This was something that.
And when I say you went like right in, because my journey was completely different. I started out with crystals and tarot cards, and here you're going to the jungle and doing psychedelics.
Right.
And so tell us about it. Start from the beginning.
So like I said, I watched another journey before mine, and then
Were you scared?
I was a little intimidated.
Okay.
I don't know that scared's the right word. I think it's intimidated. I was intimidated because I'm not much of a smoker.
Yeah.
And you had to smoke the DMT out of a pipe, a glass, like almost looked like a pen with no ends pipe. And I'm not much of a smoker, so my ability to inhale isn't great. I'm just sitting there afraid, like I'm gonna cough and it's not gonna work, and I'm gonna mess it up, and I'm gonna embarrass myself, and I managed to do it, and inhale it and keep it in and hold it for a little while and then breathe it out. I did cough a little bit, but it was like my mind was holding on to this, holding on to reality too much. And honestly, I was afraid I was going to piss my pants.
Yeah.
That was the first thought that came to my head. I'm going to embarrass myself and just piss myself.
Yeah.
And as soon as I let that go, it was like everything just melted away. Like all that fear, all that irrational, thoughts of things like, pissing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because nobody told me that was a possibility, and I doubt it is, but I mean, I don't know. But it just kind of all melted away. And it was just kind of like once I decided to release the fear and the anxiety,
Yeah.
it was like I was given a gift.
So what was your experience like as far as like, what did you see? You know, because everybody's experience is so different. I'll never forget my first time.
So I did it twice. I did it back to back. I came
Okay.
out of it
Me too.
and I couldn't speak.
Yep.
And Nico, he was the one who administered. He said, you're gonna go again.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, okay.
So did you blast off the first time?
I did not.
Okay,
actually.
me neither.
No,
That's why I
just
went
kind
again.
I kind of melted, I guess.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, when I say blast off, when you leave this dimension, you like leave the third dimension. You know you're not even in the room anymore. So the first two hits, I remember I started seeing all this weird, kind of like a kaleidoscope, you know, and it was kind of scary, almost like it was coming at me, but I still knew I was in the room. I knew who was in the room, and I had heard like you take off. So then I pulled myself out of it and was like, nope, let's go again. And then I was like, bye, and just like passed back, and I was gone.
So did you take another hit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I entered the Matrix. It was all like green, gridded. I could control time. Like it was mind blowing. It was so cool.
So I just kind of ascended. It was like I was in a
Okay.
tunnel, but a tunnel going up. And people talk about entities. I don't
Yeah.
know that I had I couldn't specify that it was an entity, more
Me
a
neither.
fairy
Yeah.
of some kind in my periphery, just kind of guiding me
Yeah.
along. I was following it, I guess, I suppose. And I guess I was ascending. I was going up,
Okay.
up, 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 up. And I
Yeah.
was going through a kaleidoscope of colors.
Yeah.
And it started out very, very dark.
Yes.
And then it was very, very light.
Did you notice how when you changed your breath, like for me, it was scary. And I remember people were like, just breathe. And then I was like, just breathe. And then I smiled and then it got better. Yeah.
I don't recall anything happening outside
okay.
of my body.
Okay.
I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was laying down or sitting up, but I was just ascending. And once I got to the brighter colors, it was like this crystal clear blue color almost. And then that's when I started to see like the dimensional shapes and the geometry
So
and
cool.
stuff like that. And at some point I opened my eyes and there was a tree above me, and the tree looked like a disconnected chandelier. Like the leaves were in all different heights, and they were not connected to the tree, but it formed a tree.
Yeah.
And just kind of all
everybody's experiences are so different. That's why I love hearing about them.
And I remember I opened my eyes and I kind of looked to my left and just looked at people looking at me, and then I sat up and I looked at Nico, and I couldn't speak. Like I had so much I wanted to say, but I couldn't.
Yeah,
And
you were
then-
still processing.
And then he told me to go again. And so I'm not going to not listen to the guys.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh my gosh.
And the second time was a little more different because it felt like this like I was just being bathed in love. Just overwhelming, drenching to the bone feeling of love.
Yeah.
And it was just incredible.
So you started with the DMT. This is like the beginning of the retreat.
Yeah.
And then what was next?
Next was psilocybin, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And my very first time I did 9 grams and had a 8.5 hour journey in a tent.
Oh my God.
And I people say like, oh, you just trip balls. At no point did I feel like I was tripping balls. I was on a journey.
Yeah.
I was going somewhere with a clear destination in mind. Not necessarily in mind, but there was a destination and I knew it. I wasn't afraid that there wasn't going to be an end to this.
Yeah. So you weren't afraid.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I remember there were some scary parts and there were some overwhelming parts for me, but that's just part of my own personal journey and things that I was dealing with and healing from and coming to terms with, I think. But it was just more of that overwhelming feeling of love. And another thing that I recognized from the DMT experience to the psilocybin experience was that feeling of recognition, like, you know where you are.
Yeah.
You know what all of this is. This is a part of you. Welcome back.
Mm.
So that that also just kind of solidified for me personally, like, okay, this is what I'm here.
Yeah, you're meant to be there.
This is why I'm here.
So that was the second medicine you participated in. What was the third?
The third was ayahuasca.
Okay, I'm dying to do that. I want to hear about that one.
My ayahuasca experience was incredible. It was, I will say, one of the worst and best experiences of my entire life, because I felt like I was just battered the entire time, but in the best way. Like, when you're working out really, really hard and you're just giving it your all and it hurts so good.
Yes.
That kind of,
Yes.
It was kind of like that. Like, I remember thinking at some point, like, okay, when is this going to end? I need it to end. I need it to be over. And then I just I put my hand on the ground. And one of the funny things about that is my entire journey started the moment I said yes to the medicine.
Yeah.
And I said yes months prior.
Yeah.
And it started working in me before I ever even took it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a pretty firm believer in that. Set your intentions.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Intention setting is so important.
Of all expectations.
Yep. Surrender.
Don't put expectations on what
needs to happen or what you want to happen. Yeah, for sure.
Before I went into it, my mindset was just, my intention wasn't necessarily set. It was more just, show me who I've become. Show me who I am. That's the only thing I could really put into words.
Yeah.
And the moment I stepped foot onto the Lunita property for that specific journey, it was like something in me changed. A switch flipped. And I just entered this, what Michael called God mode, where I was at complete peace. I went inward big time.
Yeah.
And I knew that I needed to go on this specific journey alone. Any other journeys I had taken, I had done, with him or with other people or whatever. I needed to, even though there were going to be other people there, I knew I needed to do it alone, apart from everyone else. I knew that was part of my journey. So I kind of distanced myself from everyone leading up to that.
Yeah.
Not in a mean way or a way where I just was, solitude in my room all the time, but in a way where I needed to go inward. And so I did. And my journey really centered around two things, circles and water. Somehow I picked the point in the circle where there was a leak in the roof and I got drenched while everyone else stayed dry.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was soaking wet and freezing,
oh my gosh,
lying on the concrete, just shivering in a ball while going through, I don't know how long the journey, 6, 7, 8 hours.
Is that how long ayahuasca
For
lasts?
some people, it can last even longer.
Okay.
I mean, I've gone as long as like 12, 14 hours with the journey, just continuing on with it in meditation and just stillness. But water. So when I say that I put my hand on the ground because I needed to ground myself, I put it in a puddle of water. And
that's good that you knew that too.
It brought me back to life, and not to life, but to the point where I wasn't scared. Like, I didn't want it to end anymore.
Yeah.
But I knew that, like, okay, I found my center. Like, I'm here. I'm safe. I'm okay. But my experience with ayahuasca was a complete
rebirth.
I lived my entire life all over again, from the womb.
Oh wow.
To being born.
During your trip.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw myself in the womb. I was floating in my mother's womb, and I saw the umbilical cord attached. I saw myself being born. I heard my cry. And when I heard my cry, that's when I realized what was happening. That it was mine. I just thought I heard a baby crying. But it wasn't just this cry of like just a baby crying. This was I'm here. I am here. And that was me saying, that was me. I'm here. Here I am.
I haven't heard of anybody else having that experience where they traveled back to being in the womb. And I actually did a couple months ago, I did a MDMA and ketamine healing session. First, it started with MDMA, and then I came out, and she's like, here, a second dose. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, let's move on. And then I did the ketamine, and she could tell. She was like, you were just gone. You time traveled. And I was talking through it, but I don't remember that because I was gone. And I do remember being in the womb and seeing my parents. But I don't know what I took away from it, like it's just, but I know I went there. Yeah.
I think I'm still trying to integrate what
Yeah.
I'm taking away from that specific experience,
Yeah.
even almost a year later.
Oh, for sure. There's so many times that
But
happens.
the moment I heard that cry my eyes were open the whole time too.
So was it kind of like a tape being fast forward or rewound, like you just kind of relived everything, or like certain memories would just from like all ages, or?
From all ages. You know how when you watch a movie from like the 60s or 70s,
Yeah.
you know what the screen looks like? I could tell the time periods changed based off of what the picture looked like in front of me, based off of the quality of the picture,
Wow.
so to speak.
Yeah.
So like at some point, everything looked like an old Polaroid. Everything looked like an 80s movie. Everything looked like a 90s movie, you know?
Oh my goodness.
And there are specific memories that happened that I remember. I remembered my second grade teacher.
Did you remember your childhood before your ayahuasca experience?
Certain parts of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm somebody who doesn't remember anything,
Yeah.
like at all.
I have a lot of memories, but I don't have a vivid recollection of my entire childhood.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. I don't think anybody really does, but to be able to remember you at like age 2, 3, 4, 5, like I don't really remember anything before like 16.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that tells me I have trauma, and that's why I want to do ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And I've been doing self-help and healing for the last 4.5 years, all the healing sessions. And I bring it up every time. I'm like, I don't remember my childhood. And I know that shit's going to come up but I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had some rough stuff come up. Like I said, things that I'm still integrating, but yeah, I lived all over again. And then
How was that coming out of that?
so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. Like I warmed up a little bit. I started to feel normal. The things that I was seeing during my journey with my eyes wide open were no longer there.
They're like, okay, around 4. You're like, hold up.
Well, we don't do it that way. I mean, you can drink as many times as you want to, but you're not.
Or I meant next experience.
Next experience. But anyway, yeah, I thought I was done. And then I got up and went to my suite, bundled myself up, got dry, bundled myself. I think I showered actually. Gross. But bundled myself up, laid in my bed, turned on a specific song, and then kept journeying for another 2 hours by myself in my suite.
So cool.
And I got a lot out of that too. I'm glad that I took that time to go away from the circle and do that. I felt like it completed it more for me than just sitting there and like trying to wrap my head around everything that I had just, experienced. And then the next morning we did Bufalo Various.
Okay, and that's the frog medicine.
Yes. And I went first.
Okay. Oh,
and I had never seen this medicine. I've heard of it.
Okay.
But I had no knowledge other than
I want to know, how do you like partake in it?
This is going to sound so crude, and I don't want it to take away from how beautiful it is, but you smoke it out of a crack pipe.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's like a lot of
with
things.
With a torch.
I just wasn't sure if you were like licking a frog or like, how people have said that, or is that a separate thing? I don't know. I've heard of that.
I hope that nobody actually licks the poor frog.
Or do you get like a burn from it? What is that?
No, that's combo.
Oh, okay.
That's combo. So Bufalo Various was the next morning, and I went first. Like I said, I wanted my journey informed in no part by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I experienced ego death. So my entire journey from the ayahuasca to the Bufalo Various was full circle because I experienced birth and then death.
Wow.
I came to, I don't know how long I was under, I came to, and the first words out of my mouth were, I forgot I even existed. And I was completely, I wasn't scared. I was okay with it. I was at peace, and that same feeling, that being wrapped in just a blanket of heavy, heavy love. I was just immersed in it, and it was incredible. If I could relive that experience again, I would. It was just incredible.
So each day after you had participated in one of these ceremonies, were you ever like, oh man, here we go again? Or were you just like rolling with it, excited about it?
So excited about it. Like
because you knew what was going to come from it.
I've never had a bad experience. At that point, I had never had a bad experience with any type of hallucinogenic.
Yeah.
psychedelic.
Yeah.
I've never had a bad experience. They'd all been peaceful and beautiful and loving. And there had been scary elements, sure. There had been, dark things, but none of it was enough to make me look away or not just keep trudging forward. Like I said, every medicine, it was like I was revisiting a place that I came from. You came from here. Welcome back. Now just let me work in you.
Yeah.
And that. And
so was that the last one, or what did you keep? You're like, there's more.
There's a little more. I've done combo and I've done the rapé. The rapé is usually administered during. There's 2 different times it's administered at our retreats, but it's usually administered during ayahuasca. And I'll go back a little bit to my ayahuasca journey. I was the last person in the circle to receive the ayahuasca.
Okay.
So that was another thing with me for my journey relating to circles. I was the last one in the circle to receive that. When we did our blessing ceremony, I was the first person they started with and the last person they ended with. Everything just came down to a circle for me. When we did our cacao ceremony, I was given an oracle card out of a deck, and it was the very last card in the deck.
Oh, wow.
And it just, things for me were just like, okay, like maybe not a lot of people would have thought of it that way, but they just kept happening.
Yeah.
Like these maybe synchronicities.
Yeah.
Somehow. And so back to the ayahuasca, they came up to me to administer the rapé. And at this point, I had just started seeing like neon light streaks and spots. And like it was starting to kick in a little bit.
Yeah.
I hadn't yet purged. And I'm sitting there waiting for it because other people have purged. And I'm like, maybe I did it wrong. Like, I'm totally in my head about it and thinking like I didn't do it right or it's not going to work on me.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in front of me trying to convince me to do the rapé. And the rapé is a shamanic snuff that is administered through the nostrils.
Okay.
And it burns.
Okay.
It immediately makes you tear up.
Yeah.
It immediately just makes you, sends you back like, whoa.
Yeah.
But what it does is it cleanses your pineal gland. Am I saying this right? It cleanses your pineal gland and just helps the journey it intensifies it, I guess. It can make it better. That's what they were telling me, at least what I got from it in that moment.
Yeah.
So I was terrified. I didn't want anything going up my nose. Like you're going to shove this pipe up my nose and then blow what?
Yeah. But you trusted these people.
At that point, I didn't. Well, I trusted the people.
Yeah.
I didn't trust that this was going to be something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And at the moment I relinquished control of the idea that it wasn't something that I wanted to do, the moment I was like, okay, let's do this, I gave in to and trusted the process. That's the moment my body was like, okay, that's all I needed. Now you're going to throw up.
Oh, no.
And you're going to throw up and throw up and throw up and throw up.
Yeah.
And I threw up a lot. And something that I started experiencing, this was the moment that kind of led me into feeling like I wanted it to end.
Yeah.
Other people were puking too, and it just sounded like these horrific screams. Demonic.
I've watched documentaries and yeah.
And so, it took me a while to realize, okay, I'm experiencing auditory hallucinations. This isn't actually what is happening. People are puking, and some of it's probably mostly silent, but my brain is just intensifying
making it extreme.
Making it extreme. So like I said, I grounded myself, and so the rapé is something that I did later on.
Okay.
And that is something like having your whole entire brain, the insides of your skull, wiped clean with a menthol wipe.
Oh my God.
Like, that's what it feels like to me. Like everything, sounds were clearer, colors were brighter, noise, like everything was just more beautiful, more intense, everything was just.
And is it still like that, or has it like faded?
I feel like it lasted for a while. For me. Yeah. I think so. Especially being in the jungle, you're immersed
no
with
better place.
all of these sounds, constantly. It's never quiet.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it allows you to just hear things that you might not have heard before. So
yeah. So which one has been your favorite?
Bufal Various.
Yeah. Why?
Probably because it's just always such a beautiful, easy experience for me. It just kind of flows in me.
Okay.
And I with it. I just feel like it's a medicine that resonates with me so much, because every time I've experienced it, I have just felt profound love.
Yeah.
I have watched love pour out of me into other people. I have watched the amount of love that I've seen, the amount of love I have not given myself,
Yeah.
and realized, like, loving yourself is the most important.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
like, you can't. How are you going to love someone the way they deserve to be loved if you can't love yourself the way you deserve to be loved?
So
And
is that what got you into, I want to know, you had this experience and now you're hosting these retreats. So you went to a retreat and then how did that happen?
we just kind of changed our entire business model. It was kind of like, wait a minute, this is much better. This is because, I mean, like, I don't know, for me at that point, it was just like, I want to keep this is right, that I want to keep healing, and I want to watch people heal, and I want to help people heal, and I want to lead them to their healing. I want them to know that it's possible, like, you're capable, and it's within your reach.
And that's what Mystic Movement is all about too, because my own healing experiences and just, I'm like, people need to know about this, that they don't have to live with all this trauma. And we just have that desire to want to make a bigger impact and help as many people as we can.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell us about these retreats.
So we have a few coming up. We have one in October. It's the Dia de Muertos retreat, and in Mexico, no less. Day of the Dead. And that'll be October 30th through November 5th. And it's a very immersive experience. All the medicines that I just talked about, with the exception of psilocybin, will be offered at this retreat, along with many other experiences that you just will never get anywhere else. We tend to do these in smaller groups, so the circle feels close and tight-knit and comfortable with one another. And the way the medicine schedule is kind of laid out, you're not going to, I mean, everybody has the option to say no, of course.
Yeah.
But you want to say yes.
Yeah.
The way everything's set up, the way you're just kind of guided gently into everything, whether or not the journey is gentle for you or not, you want to keep going. You want to keep pushing, and being brave. You just, you want to see what your limits are and go a little bit further.
So I do have one question. Has your life changed at all when it comes to the people in it since you started your spiritual journey? Because I know for me, it definitely changed.
In my line of work, the people have not changed. But how
do people call you woo-woo or no?
No.
Nothing?
People are actually very respectful. Some people,
I think more people are starting to, open up to it. Like the collective is definitely awakening for sure.
I wouldn't say that it's changed the people in my life, but it's changed how I interface with them.
Absolutely.
It's changed how I receive them and how I allow myself to open up to them. Yeah. I'm not going to give somebody a piece of me that is, negative. And,
I did notice, because I've always been like a rescuer, saver, always wanting to help people, but you can't help people who don't want to be helped. However, when I started doing the work, working on myself, those relationships changed. They started wanting to becoming better too. Yeah.
I will say that, my immediate friend group just all came to a retreat in April.
Okay.
For reasons just like this.
Yeah.
Just me experiencing stuff like this, and then, sharing bits and pieces of my story over the course of a year inspired them to, hey, what do I got to do to be a part of this? And and then, next thing you know, the whole retreat's full of my friends.
That's so awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to come to one too.
And I'll be with the best people too. So that's like what I'm super excited about. So what does your own spirituality mean for you?
I think that for me, it's just important for me to just keep going and keep learning, and to remain open-minded and open-hearted.
Yeah.
And to just always remember that love is the biggest influence.
Yeah. It's addicting. It's like, I know.
It's just loving people can change the smallest thing.
Yeah.
It can change the biggest thing. Just loving them.
It's a ripple effect. It really is.
Yeah.
So you found yourself at the center of a growing movement in Kitsap County. How has this work affected people you love?
Like I said, I built a whole retreat surrounding my friends, and we've had the opportunities to integrate together, and the opportunities to have these conversations and talk about their experiences since being home from their retreat and their journeys. I've taken a couple of friends back with me to participate in ayahuasca, and just watching their lives change.
Right, that's my favorite part.
Sometimes it's just small changes, but those small changes lead to bigger changes, more small changes, and
Oh, I see a huge shift in Monica from where she was to after attending that. I'm like, and that's the thing that can happen for anybody.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
So let's talk about the exciting news that what we're working on right now. Do you want to go ahead and explain what is in the works right now with House of Healing? And
right now, House of Healing in the Village has partnered up with Zayo Journeys and Mystic Movement, as well as Kara Rush and Sprout Fitness. Is it Sprout Fitness? So she's she's our yoga and breath work our yoga and breath work instructor, and hopefully she'll be doing our yoga retreats in Mexico in the near future. We're hoping to get you down there.
Yeah, definitely. It's happening.
Just build like even a whole Mystic Movement retreat,
I mean, Michael and I talked about that. I think it was a year ago, maybe not a year ago. It feels like a year ago, but the timing wasn't right, but it's right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I think things just needed to be built up a little more.
Yeah.
And we needed to find more of our people. And
absolutely.
We definitely have.
Yeah. Well, do you have any last words or any advice or?
I feel like the idea of going to a retreat and doing a bunch of hallucinogenics is kind of people either see it as like hippy dippy or scary
or intimidating. Yeah.
And I just want to encourage people to don't be afraid to say yes, even if it's the smallest thing, even if it's something like a circle here.
Yeah.
A meditation, or
I always say whatever you resist, persist. Or get comfortable being uncomfortable. So do the things that scare you, because that's where you need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, not everyone's gonna like I said, I don't think I've experienced very minimal fear, thankfully.
Yeah.
But other people,
I'm fearless.
Other people have this, these fears and these anxieties, and those are very real. But we do honor that.
Yeah.
And we do, we walk you through it.
Yeah.
We help you.
Well, and you can't ever expect anybody else to, do things at the same time, because we're all on our own journey and the timing is always right. Yeah.
And I mean, you can always say no. You don't have to say yes to everything, but say yes to something.
Yeah.
Just start.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to pursue healing and your own journey, say yes to something, a baby step, because you'd be surprised how quickly it can just catapult you into.
I mean, look at you.
Into the idea of like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah.
Why didn't I? And I wish I would have. Why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you, Tara, so much for coming on. Hopefully you'll come on again soon.
Yeah, of course.
And we will see you guys soon.